Hi everyone, this is Rosie, and today I would like to talk about how I cut cork fabric and leather on the Cricut Maker. So let's get started. I have two card holder wallets that I've made here. One has been made from cork fabric and the other one was made from veg tan leather, and my veg tan leather is 1 millimeter thick. Now I will have another video on how to construct these, but for right now I just want to talk about how I cut out the pieces to make these card wallets on the Cricut Maker. So let's talk about the veg tan leather first. Now to prepare the leather for cutting, I am using my strong grip mat, and I do have a piece of my leather here that's the size that I will need for cutting, and I'm just going to place it with the good side down right up against the mat. And then I'll take a brayer and I'm just going to make sure that it's all nice and flat and adhering well. And then I'll take some painter's tape and I just want to tape down all four sides, just like this. Now we will be using the knife blade on the Cricut Maker to cut this out, and I'm going to show you the settings that I use to do that. But you want to make sure that you follow all of the manufacturer's instructions for using the knife blade. It is a very sharp tool, so you want to be careful and follow all the safety precautions that Cricut gives for using the knife blade. Now once you're in Design Space, the first thing that you'll do is upload your SVG file. And I am using a Mac desktop right now. So you'll go over here and choose Upload. And you want to go right over here where it says Image and Upload Image. And then you're going to browse for your file. And once you locate your file, you'll double click on it. And you'll see it come up over here. You can give it a name if you want. And then you're going to click on Save. And then you'll see it right over here. And you'll click on this box. And then you will come right over here and click on Insert Images. And here it is. Now once it's loaded, it's grouped together and you do not want to change the size. So you're going to come over here and select Ungroup. And then if you click on each of these individual pieces, they should be the correct size when they load in. So this piece right here is 6 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. This one's also 6 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And then each one of these pieces is 4 1/4 inches by 2 inches. So let's just position them on the canvas right now. And I'm going to rotate these pieces. And now what I want to do is group them all together. So I'm just going to select all of them and press attach. And actually I'm not grouping them, I'm just attaching them. Now we can come up here and click on Make It. And it shows you the mat with all your pieces positioned all the way up here in the corner. And you want to make sure that your pieces are positioned the same way that your material is positioned on the mat. I did not place my material all the way up in the corner, so I need to move it around here a little bit. When I put down my material, I left 1 inch on this side and 1 inch on this side. So I'm making sure that my pieces are within those parameters. And then I can select Continue. Then you'll be brought to the next screen and you'll be asked to choose the material that you're using. So I'm going to click over here where it says Browse All Material, and I'm going to search for leather. And then I come up with all these options. And what I want to use for the veg tan leather is the tooling leather. Now my leather is 1 millimeter thick. So my choices here are 0.8 millimeters, 1.6 millimeters, and 2.4. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the 8 millimeter since that's the closest to the thickness I'm using. And then I'll click Done. And to accommodate my extra thickness, I'm going to click right over here where it says default, and I'm going to choose more pressure. Now, this is important up here. It says move the star wheels all the way to the right. Make sure that your material is no wider than 11 inches and is secured to a strong grip mat using masking tape on all 4 sides. So you want to make sure that those star wheels are out of the way because you don't want them riding over your leather. Then they tell you to load in your knife blade, and again you want to make sure that you use all safety precautions according to the manufacturer's instructions. And then you can go ahead and load your mat, and it's going to cut over the same areas multiple times depending on the amount of pressure that you need. Now I'm not going to show you the actual cutting, but these are the settings that I use. I finished the cutting and I'm ready to remove the pieces. Now, you want to always do a test square first. Don't just cut out your whole project. Take a little piece of leather, cut out maybe a 1 or 2 inch square with the settings that you think that are going to work for you. And then once you know that it's cutting all the way through properly, then you can go ahead and cut out your pieces. Now, cutting out the cork fabric is actually a little bit more challenging than the leather. I find that the cork really slips around on the mat as the rotary blade is cutting it. So to solve that problem, what I like to do is take a piece of the strong grip transfer paper and I place that so that the sticky side will be up onto my mat. And again, you want to make sure that it's all braided down nicely. And then once I have that sticking down there well, I go ahead and remove the paper here. And then I can take my cork and I place it with this side down. So in other words, the cork is going to be facing up. I place that right onto that transfer paper. And then I make sure that that's all braided down well. This may seem like overkill, but trust me, I've ruined enough pieces of cork to realize that doing it this way is the safest way to do it. And then I do also place pieces of masking tape all around the edges. Cork fabric is very expensive, so you want to be very careful. And again, before you cut out your pieces, do a little test square. A 1 or 2 inch test square just to make sure that your settings are going to cut all the way through your material. And then you can make the necessary adjustments if you need to. And now let's go talk about the settings. So we're back on the canvas. My project is still loaded, and I'm going to choose Make It again. And again, here is my project pieces on the mat, and I do need to move it so that my pieces are in the area where I've set the material on the mat, and then I can click Continue. And then again, it wants me to choose my material. So I'm going to browse all materials again, and I'm going to choose denim. And I want to choose heavy fabrics like denim. And then I can say done. And for the default pressure, if you want, again, you're going to do a test square, but I'm going to choose more. And we will be using the rotary blade. Now, it doesn't say anything up here about the star wheels, but I'm going to tell you, you do not want the star wheels to roll over that cork. That cork shifts so easily, and you don't want the impressions of those wheels on your cork anyway. So make sure that your rotary blade is in. Make sure that you follow all the manufacturer's directions for using the rotary blade safely. And then you can go ahead and load your project. So now the cork is cut out and we can remove these pieces. Now, one thing that you can do is after you remove everything, you can take this transfer paper off of the back of your pieces and actually reuse them. And that way you have a little bit of savings in using the transfer paper. So I would just go ahead and just set it back down. And then you just go ahead and remove the rest of your pieces and you can start sewing your card holder together. So here are my pieces cut out with all my tips for cutting out the cork fabric and the leather. I do hope that this video was helpful to you. Please like and subscribe.